connecting your brain and body with interactive games and tests. Why is there no physical activity in today's health physical? Trazer is an holistic technology used to rehabilitate, prevent falls, and improve sport performance. Trazer reports provide you, your clinician, your physical therapist, or athletic trainer objective data to make decisions on your health and performance over time. Measure what matters to change your game. Take the Trazer Challenge. Confidence, growth, connected by Trazer.
At Fusion Sport, we're all about driving human performance. We develop and support a range of technologies all designed to assist people to be their best. SmarterBase is used by hundreds of elite sporting organisations across the globe, and more recently has been used by the military and performing arts as well.
Our SmarterBase technology has at the heart of it an integrated and connected philosophy. What's different about SmarterBase is that it's truly flexible and self-engineerable. That really puts the power into our customers' hands, and it allows them to use it in unique ways that perhaps we haven't even thought of.
We don't tell the rest of the field, but here comes Jimmy Stone.
Welcome to the Sports Arena, guys. I'm Megan Price from 806 Sports and the Sip Off. Now, I know I'm not the face y'all are used to normally seeing introduce the show, but Eric is in mourning currently. We have a jam-packed show for you guys. We will be hitting all the NFL headlines this evening, from the Jets to King Henry and the Titans, all the way to the Von Miller trade. But let me go ahead and get the crew in here. We have John Shearer from 1340 AM Fox Sports Radio. Hey, John.
Hey, how's it going?
It's going really well. How are you?
I'm doing pretty well. What do you think about them Spurs jerseys? I'm digging them.
I like them. Now, I love our Fiesta colors, and I prefer them with black, but I do like the white ones too. It's nice to switch it up instead of having the solid blacks all the time. So
the city jerseys that they introduced.
Right. Yes. The NBA announced their city jerseys today. I like the Kings the best. I think they look awesome.
I like ours, the Heat.
Those are nice too.
I love it.
I like those from last year, the cotton candy ones, though. Those are my favorites.
I don't know if you caught it, but they're letting each player on the Heat design or choose what font they want for each player's number. They get to choose their own font, look and everything on their jersey, which is pretty cool. I've never heard of that.
That is really cool. That's a nice custom right there. So not everybody is able to do that. All right, guys, we're going to go ahead and introduce the next person. We have Michael Caratenuto from Believe in the Pac-12 podcast. Hey, Mike, you know.
Yeah.
Victory Monday.
Yeah, it's NBA jerseys. The NBA doesn't start till Christmas anyway, all right? And I follow the Suns, and I know that. And look, Miami's going to do – hey, you know what? Hopefully everybody for basketball will be all excited because, yeah, I do think the Heat will be good, but they're still not better than the Bucks. And when James Harden getting back into it, they're still not better than the Nets. But, hey, hopefully there's a diva font for Jimmy Butler. But let's focus on football. let's focus on football. And hopefully the Dolphins can rub off on the Heat too, because we all know how well that's going. But let's focus on football because, Megan, I just, again, Cooper Rush at times to me, the one pass where he threw the interception, I'm like, man, come on, a high school kid on video could have read that cover too. And I was like, man, but I'm like, all right, but what's the only way to ruin an Eagles victory for Eric Wilson? Well, that's for the Cowboys to come out on Sunday night, him trying to get on the Kirk Cousins fan club train and bring the Vikings victory. And look, the Eagles look dominant. The Eagles did. They look dominant. It's the Lions. That's
if I
fine.
played the Lions, I would be dominant too.
Yeah, hey, the Vikings weren't dominant against them. That's why Eric Wilson never should have picked them, because the Vikings had to get a last-second, 52-yarder from Joseph to beat them.
Vikings? Who's their quarterback?
Kirk Cousins, but it doesn't matter because Eric went on the Kirk Cousins train, wanted to call him up last Monday when I had my game, and he was all happy.
Where's Eric? Where's Eric?
Oh, wow. Well, but you know what? Hey, all I'm going to say is the Cowboys are in first place. He has to actually trash Kirk Cousins, give credit to Cooper Rush, and, his favorite. He has to give credit to Amari Cooper as well, who just concentration, everything. Not the touchdown catch was good, but the catch downfield, obviously, which got the first down. So let's bring in the most miserable Eagles fan after an Eagles big-time victory, Mr. Eric Wilson, the face of the sports arena. What's up, E? Was that a pretty good intro? What's happening?
You're in mourning?
Look, Megan and I picked the Lions, and I thought the Lions would come through for us, and that was a big laugher because 48 points later, I felt stupid. And I'm like, man, I go, maybe Eric's Kirk Cousins wish is coming true. And then the Cowboys defense balled out. Trayvon Diggs. Well, Anthony Brown got beat on that first one because, of course, Anthony Brown, as we all know, can't do two talented things at once. You're muted, Eric. You're muted.
The Eagles are John Mazik said the Eagles are ruining their draft selection. That's not true.
I am done listening.
They have the Dolphins pick. The Dolphins
they
terrible.
do have the Dolphins pick.
Okay, I'm about to mute all three of y'all. I need to get this off my chest right now before we go any further. So, ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to Eric's Rant.
Swung on and hit in the air to deep left center.
Welcome to another edition of Eric's Rant. I'm a loudmouth with an opinion, so whether you like me or not, here it goes. Week 1, I came on here and I said, Kirk Cousins, how could you let Cincinnati beat you? I did not realize what Cincinnati was going to be like. I give them props, even though they did get beat by the Jets yesterday. Shocker. How some of this stuff works, I'll never understand it. But aside from that, we went out and did the Minnesota Vikings a favor. We beat the Detroit Lions. Now, listen, the Detroit Lions haven't won a game. Should we have beat them as badly as we did? Yeah, they're the Lions. All you had to do, Kirk Cousins, all you had to do was beat the Dallas Cowboys with a backup quarterback, Cooper Rush. Do you understand the words that are coming out of my mouth? It was rush hour yesterday. So now I have to come on this show that I love with my family and say I was wrong yet again, and I put the blame squarely on you. You had one job, beat the Cowboys. You were home. It was Sunday night. The lights were bright. You had Justin Jefferson, Dalvin Cook, and everybody else. And you could not get the job done. This is why, Kirk Cousins, you are the walking piece of mediocrity. You are the $84 million guaranteed walking piece of mediocrity. I don't know who in that front office felt compelled to pay you all this money to not deliver the Minnesota Vikings at the very least an NFC championship game. Oh, you had one. But then we whooped your ass in Philly. And since then, you ain't been the same. You weren't right when you were in Washington, and you ain't right now. So as far as I'm concerned, Kirk Cousins, I don't like it, never will like it, and that's why you will be who you are to this day. Moving forward, I'm not saying anything else ever again about the success or failure of Kirk Cousins. I am officially, as of right now, done.
So where's
Can I-
Ty? Where's
can I
Ty?
just-
No, you can't say nothing.
Where's
Can I
Ty?
just say
When you
Dan
walk past
Quinn?
to close your eyes, you can't say nothing. You done.
Dan Quinn.
You got a whole hour Wednesday night to talk about your Cowboys. That's what you got. This coming Wednesday, November 3rd, you, Megan, Ruth, James, Ashley, you get 1 hour to talk about your Cowboys, and no one's gonna say nothing to you.
I'm just curious where Ty is to face the music.
Oh, I
He's
know.
been ranting about Kirk Cousins
know.
all year.
I know. Ty gonna come to the congregation. He's gonna come to the front of the congregation.
he
Make
just
no
said that-
mistake about it.
No. He
The
defended
numbers he
Cousins
was-
like he's
yes, because the numbers he was putting up, he's right there. Just like when other
But-
people, everybody was trashing Derek Carr. He
But
said,
you have
really,
to look
that's
at the
terrible.
game
I'll take
inside
it."
the game. And I tried telling you guys, Kirk Cousins will put up 400 yards and 4 touchdowns and no picks, and then he'll put up 105 yards, no touchdowns, and 2 picks. He does this. That's a problem with Kirk Cousins, is he'll play you into games, he'll play you out of games. That's Kirk Cousins in a nutshell. It's
How
why I
about-
don't believe in him.
It has right. And how about you actually give Dan Quinn and the Cowboys defense credit? Because Eric, you of all people, I almost text you on that roughing the passer call on
Oh,
Randy
gosh.
Gregory. I almost vomited
Jeez.
because you know how I feel about crap penalties either way going against your team. Even when the Cowboys
3 of them
got-
that drive. 3 of them.
Well, the second one Gregory
Right.
deserved because he was an idiot. But that being said, either way, Dan Quinn has changed his defense. They should have kept Byron Jones, as we know. I know that makes John happy, or they should have kept Awuzie over Brown because once again, Brown can run, Brown can cover, Brown can't run and cover. It's just too confusing for him. If I was that fast, I guess I could be confused. But Dan Quinn has changed his defense. And Micah Parsons, I'm glad you have that dark blue and Penn State white on for Micah Parsons because that boy.
Mike, you're colorblind because I'm dressed in black.
Oh, black. Oh, okay. Well,
Is this
Good
Wednesday or
morning.
Monday? Is this Wednesday or Monday?
I know.
either
Thank
way,
you, John.
I just want to say,
Thank you, John.
that's
Thank you.
fine.
Thank
I
you.
just wanted to celebrate that because
You got a whole hour
Thank
Wednesday.
you.
We're gonna celebrate it up. It's like Mardi Gras.
Hey, man.
Let's get to some of the other stuff going on.
Okay.
Because you and the rest of the base fan that you have will be discussing this Wednesday night. So first and foremost, good evening to everybody. Thank you, Megan. That was a beautiful intro.
You're welcome.
I just need to move on from this.
what about my intro? I thought I introduced you wonderfully.
Mike, you did.
Megan's the best.
You
but
did
come on.
something. You did something right in 12 years. I'll tell you. All right. Can we talk about the Jets for a minute, though? Seriously.
Jets, Jets.
I'm surprised at how this team is starting to finally, almost halfway through the season, finally start to show some grit and some hustle. And the fact that, we talk about the Jets being a lower tier team, but they're beating teams that no one expects them to beat. And it's one of those questions that we say, we're at the halfway point. I'm not expecting the Jets to make the playoffs, but could they stop a lot of teams from getting in because of how they're playing?
I think it depends on who's the starting quarterback. And then we saw their coach say that it's like a game-to-game basis right now. He's going to decide between the two. But we really saw Mike White just ball out yesterday. Not only was he 37 of 45, he had 405 yards, 3 touchdowns. He did have a couple of picks, but this was his very first start. So to be expected. I have to say, watching that game, I was a little bit jealous because I didn't think Cooper Rush could do that. And Mike White actually used to be a backup quarterback for the Cowboys. So it was kind of like, watching somebody that used to be on your team and they leave and then they go win the Super Bowl. Oh, my goodness. DeMarcus Ware. Yeah, whenever he left and went and won the very next season, went and won a Super Bowl. So I felt like we kind of dropped the ball with Mike White right there. Cooper Rush did bail us out. He did way better than I anticipated. But I think you got to give credit over there to the Jets. I think that they're starting to come together. They're not going to be a playoff team. They did draft well. I'm curious to see what we see out of Wilson, though. Will he be able to retain his starting position, or will he become the backup?
I mean, and that's the question we got to really start to begin to look and break down is, as this team moves forward, who are going to be the key assets and who are going to be the ones that, Robert Saleh is going to look at and say, you don't fit our formula, so we might need to move on from you.
Right.
I mean, you can't bench Wilson if he's healthy. They might use the old, well, he's not quite healthy and keep starting White, that reason. But eventually when people find out that he is actually healthy, if you don't start him, you might as well get rid of him, because we saw what happened with the Dolphins and Tua last year. And it's not Tua's confidence got broke. It turned into this muddy thing where then the media jumped on it. Then everybody jumped on it. Then every week it was Tua and the team have to hear these questions. And Saleh is a new coach, and you don't want to hear, well, are you starting the second overall pick in the draft, or are you starting some guy that nobody even knew existed before he played the Bengals? Like, that's what you're going to have to answer. And you don't want to have to do that as a new coach. You don't want to have to do that with your second overall pick, because then if you're starting White over this guy, you're admitting that you made a mistake already less than a season into this guy's career. So that's a slippery slope that you're going down, because then you could go down the Cardinals route where you go a season and you already start drafting new quarterbacks. You don't want to do that. That opens up a can of worms. Remember the Jets last year, they beat the Rams. They beat the Rams. They almost beat the Vegas Raiders. They almost beat them. The miracle play, the Raiders barely pulled that out last year. So, I mean, the Jets did this twice last year. They almost pulled it off. They almost beat I think it was the Browns last year they played. They gave them trouble. So, like, the Jets do this. They play weird games where they shouldn't win a game, and then they just beat a team they have no business beating. I can't explain it. Like, I have no idea how the Bengals didn't throttle them after going to Baltimore and did what they did to Baltimore. Like, it makes no sense.
And that's my thing. I think it's, do we consider the Jets, Mike Caratenuto, do we consider the Jets to be a team that people overlook, and it winds up, you fall right into their trap?
Well, yeah. I mean, look, two things. A, it's Zach Wilson's team. What, White's like 30, he's like 34, 35, I think. And yes, he did play a good game.
What's that got to do with anything?
Hold on. He hasn't been starting in the league for a reason. All I'm saying is it's Zach Wilson's team. Yes, Saleh did say week to week. It is Zach Wilson's team. They did draft well. They're not going to sit there and take another quarterback. Side note, John, it worked out well for the Cardinals because Kyler Murray's pretty bomb.
I'm just saying it's a slippery slope is all.
Yeah, that's fine, but they weren't going to draft a quarterback every year. Kyler Murray was working out. But look, it is Zach Wilson's team. Do they need more stuff around them, Eric? Yes, we know that. Our team's going to overlook the Jets. I think even in our preseason picks, I was screaming to you guys, not that you disagreed, that they hired the right coach. Robert Saleh's going to be fired up. Defensive coach or not, this whole team is going to play. It might take a minute or two or three or five, and we know they don't have the patience for that in New York with that. But they beat a Cincinnati team who, look, is a young team. We know struggles on the offensive line. They're still they have to learn how to win and close out. Yes, they blew out the Ravens, but it's not like they had a battle in that game. And look, Cincinnati might have games like that, but they proved they're definitely on the right track. Now, when you look at, I know I said 8 and 9, man. That's tough, man. That's tough. I know. I was trying to be nice to the Jets. Yeah, I know. Well, they're gonna pass. Well, they're gonna pass 3. Eric might be right at 5. Yeah, Eric and out, man. 5 and 6, man. I don't know, but if they get to 8, I'll do backflips on this show. But look, if you're Robert Saleh, again, saying that it's a week-to-week thing or day-by-day thing, again, he's sending a message to his team that, yeah, it's one win. No, you just didn't win the Super Bowl, but teams are going to overlook them, and they're not going to – and if they do, again, at the pro level, Eric, I hate this because even at the college level, like, there's somebody getting a paycheck across from you that's trying to beat the ever-living crap out of you. Mike Tyson's old. everybody's got a plan until you get punched in the mouth. Then how do you adjust?
Right.
So again, it's Robert Saleh hasn't going down the right track. Again, are they going to go on a winning streak? It's the Jets. Who knows? But are they going to be competitive? Is Robert Saleh going to have them going after people? Yes, I know the Patriots hung 50 on them. Wilson went down, but I'm not going to base it off that. I think you get a win and confidence changes. So could they rattle off 3-4 more wins throughout the season? Sure.
We'll see. Go ahead, Megan.
Shout out to Jay Nelson who brought this to my attention. There was a guy in New Jersey who put $1,000 on Mike White having the highest passing yards this week. So if Mahomes or Dimes doesn't go over 400 yards in the game that they're playing right now, and they both have about 120, 130 apiece, this guy wins $125,000.
Oh, degenerate gamblers.
Let's go that guy.
Degenerate gamblers. I love it.
By the way, nobody mentioned that they just traded for Flacco. So Flacco's the guy.
He looks so thrilled to be back.
So Flacco's the guy when he catches up with the playbook, right? If Wilson's out.
Well, they just signed him that week into the practice squad. So
that's why I said, like, if they,
Yeah, but I mean, look, Flacco is somebody. Yeah, you're right.
Be
I
White.
thought that one shot on the sidelines, but I don't go off that because everybody said the same thing about Jay Cutler, and I've never met anybody that had a partially torn meniscus trying to play sports. So I won't rip on Jay Cutler for going out of a playoff game and not having like a look of just like complete disgust or just a look of just flatness on his face, because everybody that ripped him, I said, go partially tear your meniscus and try and do anything athletic. Right. Until then, shut your mouth and don't pick on Cutler. Flacco, on the other hand, look, can he hold the ship?
You know who did though? Joel Embiid played with a partially torn meniscus last playoffs.
Yeah, but
Charlie Morton pitched a inning plus in the World Series this year with a broken leg.
But it depends on. You're right. Byron Leftwich also finished a college game with a broken leg. But if it was off his push leg.
Right.
You can't get any power. You can't throw the ball. That was my whole point about Jay Cutler. You can't throw the ball, and this dude literally could flick his wrist with his legs into it and throw the ball 70 yards. Whether you like Cutler or not, that's fact. That being said, with Joe Flacco, can he hold the ship? I mean, look, Joe Flacco never turned the ball over a lot. That's one thing I can say. It's not like a guy threw a ton of picks, but you come in late, you gotta learn a new offense because hey,
wasn't he there last year?
Yeah, but Adam Gase is there.
Yeah,
so they have the Ringling Brothers and Barnum Bailey circus offense going. So I mean, either way, he would have to learn a new offense this year too. But look, he can hold the fort down. But look, if Wilson's hurt, to your point, Sean, you ride with White. But again, we all know this, Eric. Once defensive coordinators get more film, this guy's going to come back down to earth.
Okay, we'll see.
Every quarterback does. Even the great ones at times look like they come back down to earth.
We're what, 3-4 seasons in, and they still ain't figured out Lamar. So I mean, maybe he's the exception to the rule.
Well, Cincinnati kind of did.
I was about to say the Bengals did. They sacked him 5 times.
Yeah, one game. Trust
me.
There'll be
very
some.
True. I'm not trying to knock Lamar.
No, I get you.
Oh, me neither.
All right. So let's transition and talk about some of the injuries, because first off, the trade deadline is tomorrow, and we'll get to that momentarily. But let's talk about the injuries. We did hear today that Derrick Henry is out. We did hear Jameis Winston is out. I mean, it stands to reason that, right now, if you're asking me, the Colts are the odds-on favorite to win the AFC South. You think otherwise, Mike? You think the Texans, your 0-17 Texans?
No. The Titans are still the Titans are we all picked the Colts, so of course I would like that to happen, to be right. The other side to that is the Titans have beat them twice, so it's a 3-game lead. I mean, they can't be tied. They have to finish a game above them, so they got to make up somehow 3 games. And yes, there's a football season left. But look, I'm not going to count a Mike Vrabel team out. We all knew the defense was the issue. The defense so far this season has answered the bell. Yes, they did give up points against Buffalo for the most part. Who's not going to give up points against Buffalo? That being said, if you're the Titans, I know that brought in Adrian Peterson. No, it's not going to be the same. Vrabel today was very poignant. Yeah, he did seem dejected. Of course, you lose Derrick Henry, who can, run for touchdowns, throw guys around, pass for touchdowns, bake your, serve you some toast, paint your fence. Was that from Friday Night Lights? He'll paint your fence, wash your car, and he can throw touchdowns. I mean, look, it is a huge loss. We all know that. But you got Julio Jones for this reason. So at least that alleviates some of it. Yes, there are play-action offense. It is an old-school offense. But look, their defense has answered the bell to this point. So I said they had to prove it to me through 8 weeks of the season now. The Titans defense, again, proved that they can win a shootout and they can win a low-scoring game. Carson Wentz had the first one was terrible. The second one, all right, the interception in overtime, but at least he wasn't throwing it left-handed like a complete fool. But look, I'm going to roll with the Titans, even though it goes against my pick. But yes, the Colts, can they get out of this? Can they overcome it? Sure, but you already dropped 2 games to that team? Man, that's tough.
All right, fine. John Scheer, then same question to you. Who's winning this division?
I mean, it probably is the Titans just because of the lead, but the Titans are no longer a threat. I mean, unless they get Derrick Henry healthy back in the playoffs, they're one and done. I mean, because Tannehill, he's a really good quarterback, but he's a really good quarterback with help from Derrick Henry opening up the pass game, the play action. You don't have that anymore. You have Adrian Peterson, who hasn't played in a while. Clearly, he's not in his prime anymore. Still ran effectively with Washington and Detroit. Still put up some nice yards and touchdowns, but it's not the same. And now it's on Tannehill, and Julio Jones cannot stay healthy for the life of him. The guy's played 1 good game this year in 8 weeks. He's missed 3 games. Julio just isn't. He's not the same Julio. So I'm not even worried about Julio Jones being on the field. They lost their tight end, to the Patriots. So that guy's gone. So really, what do you have? You have a bad defense. Tannehill, who was covered up by Derrick Henry. It was Derrick Henry, then Tannehill to open up that pass game. Now A.J. Brown, if you bracket him and double him, which is hard to do, he's a great player. If you bracket and double him, who's going to beat you? Corey Davis is gone. Julio Jones clearly can't stay healthy, and he's not the same guy. He has, more than 3 catches one time this year? That was against Seattle? There's nothing else there besides A.J. Brown that scares you on that offense. And their defense is bad. I don't see this team being any sort of a threat unless they get a miracle and Derrick Henry coming back in the playoffs. They're done in the AFC. No chance. Bye-bye. Unless you get a miracle with the injury, you're done.
All right, Megan Price, what say you?
I picked the Colts to win the division. And despite the start that they've had, I'm still going to ride with the Colts to win the division. But because of the Derrick Henry injury, obviously we see what the Titans are going to be without him. They're not going to be great. I do think Adrian Peterson is going to make a difference for them, but he's not going to be King Henry type of difference. He's 36 years old. But luckily, he hasn't been playing, so he hasn't been taking snaps. He hasn't been getting hit. He's not banged up. He's coming in with fresh legs. And honestly, he's one of the best I ever seen play at that position ever. So I think there's still something there. When Ocho Cinco was talking about he could still run a certain amount and a certain speed, he was very serious about that. And I think he could probably still beat some people that are on a roster today.
How much separation is he going to get?
I feel you because it's going to come in somewhere. But I think you also have to take into consideration of age of somebody else too. Tannehill is 33 years old. As we were talking about Von Miller earlier today, Tannehill was his QB in college, and I didn't realize that he was really that old because you just don't hear that much about him. So, I think that's something you got to take into consideration right there too. He's 33 years old. He's been in the league however long he's been in the league. And what impact has he made? Not much. So I'm still going to roll with the Colts. Now, their schedule is soft for the next 2 weeks. They got the Jets, they got the Jags, then they got to play the Bills, the Bucks.
Oh, no.
What?
Their schedule? They've got the Rams.
We're talking the Colts?
The Colts.
Oh,
the Colts have the Jets this Thursday.
All right, yeah. You're talking about the Colts. I'm sorry. Please go ahead.
Yeah, so we got the They got the Jets, they got the Jags, the Bills, the Bucks, and then the Texans. So, and then Patriots after that. So they have.
You can't overlook them Jets. We just talked about that, right?
Correct. But I think that they have the ability to beat the Jets. I think they're a much better constructed team than the Jets. The Jets are on their way up. And going into this season, really, majority of us thought the Colts were a great team, just they needed a quarterback. They were very similar to Washington. Great team, just needed a quarterback. Well, both of those teams were exposed this season, but I think the Colts are just kind of winning by default. I think the
Colts still need a quarterback. Colts still
All right.
need a quarterback.
So
They
let's
do.
look at
No,
this
I'm not.
'cause
I'm
we've
not.
got-
I'm not disputing that. And so does Washington.
So we've got the Titans schedule here. Now we look at this. First off, Sunday Night Football against the Rams. To me, that's a loss. They'll beat the Saints. The Texans, listen to me. The Texans, Mike, your 0-17 team, they're still playing, okay? Whether we like them or not, they're still playing. And again,
Who's their
AFC
quarterback
South.
that got injured?
Who? Tyrod Taylor for the.
Taylor. Oh yeah.
Are you talking
He's-
about?
Yeah. Okay. I was just wondering who it was.
But
Yeah.
he could be back for that game. Not sure.
For that
But
game,
I don't know how you say they're gonna beat the Saints when Taysom Hill should be back for that game. Michael Thomas will be playing by then, and you got Alvin Kamara and a defense in the Titans that can't stop a nosebleed.
Okay.
That's
believe
not
in
a
Taysom
given.
Hill? You believe in
I'm
Taysom
just
Hill?
saying.
Hey, the
At least
defense,
they,
this
at
is
least
a
they get-
defense that just punched the Chiefs in the mouth.
the
Say what
Saints
you
just
want, it's
punched
the
Tom
Chiefs.
Brady in the mouth.
Right, because they do that in New Orleans.
So
Take
it's not
that.
a guarantee that the Saints are going to lose that game.
Okay. Here's all right. So then, in my opinion, the Titans will lose to the Rams. I'm
But they got.
saying,
Oh, okay.
I'm
so-
saying they're going to.
Oh.
I'm saying they're going to beat the Saints. I'm saying they're going to beat the Texans. They'll beat the Patriots. So in their next 4 games, I have them going 3-1 before their bye. But then this last part of their schedule, these teams, with the exception of Jacksonville and Houston again, because again, AFC South, I don't care what division it is, divisional matchups, throw out the rule book. Anything and
Right.
everything has and will happen. Pittsburgh will be playing for a playoff spot. San Francisco will be playing for a playoff spot. Miami, don't know where they're going to be, but I know they're still going to play tough. All right,
playing
John.
golf. They'll be playing golf.
We didn't play no damn tough game. You just
All
count
right.
us out of that game.
Okay, I give you more credit than you give your own team.
Nah,
What I'm
nah,
saying
nah.
to you is, yes, Tennessee has shown that with Derrick Henry and with the pieces around them, they have been formidable and a team that a lot of us, even though we gave it to the Colts, but we based it on the Colts defense, which is the exact opposite we're saying about the Titans. We're saying it's the Titans offense. You lose 60% of your Titans offense. I can't, I want to give them the nod, but I just really feel like this is now the Colts season. The Colts division is
Well, at
just
6
become them
and
once again.
At 6-2 and 3-5, again, you're right. It can change quick, but the Colts can also have a slip up in there too. So, and I'm with Megan. Look, the Jets. The best thing for the Jets after a win, a team like the Jets, not every team, Eric, but the best thing for the Jets, get back on the field quick. Don't forget that momentum and that feeling.
Right.
So if they beat the Colts, look, if they do beat the Colts on Thursday, and it is a big if, I am giving the division to Tennessee.
Okay.
I don't think they're coming back from that because
Fair enough.
Tennessee's defense to this point, my last point, Tennessee's defense, like I said, they've answered the bell. Whatever we think of the Chiefs or not, they still have all those explosive weapons. They answered the bell. They went toe-to-toe. Yeah, if Josh Allen doesn't slit, maybe the Bills win. But look, they still went toe-to-toe with what I feel is the best team in the AFC, especially defensively. So, look,
That's
if
all
the
with
Jets-
Derrick
if the
Henry.
I
Jets-
still feel like the
Difference
Jets
with
don't
Derrick
win,
Henry.
if the Jets win this game, it's the Titans division. Yeah, and again, Mike Vrabel will come up with something. It's not like you're just going to go 3 and out every play or every
No,
series.
I get that, but you lose Derrick Henry. You're not
I
beating the Bills
understand.
without Derrick Henry.
Right.
Like it's just not happening. That doesn't
Right, but
happen in
they
that
can win
game
their division. They can win their division.
because of the lead. If
Fine. If they win the division, then to John's point, they're one and done.
Done. Yeah,
They're
possibly. If,
All right,
if
take a
Derek's
break.
not back.
You're right. Take a break. We'll come back. We'll get into these trade deadline possibilities. And even though they're playing on Monday night, I want to revisit the conversation. If anybody is hitting the panic button on the Kansas City Chiefs, more with the crew, just a moment.
Generations Physical Therapy has been the Tri-State's leader in physical therapy services for over 20 years. And now we have a convenient location right in the heart of the capital city of Charleston, just off I-64. With convenient parking and flexible hours, your access to physical therapy is second to none. Plus, Snap Fitness is also in sight with 2 floors of gym equipment and sports enhancement training through A-Game Sports Performance. So whether you're needing hands-on physical therapy or looking to get results in our gym, our family's ready to help yours. Generations Physical Therapy and Snap Fitness. Multiple services, multiple locations. Experience you can count on.
And welcome back into the Sports Radio. Man, Eric Wilson, alongside our Queen of Hoops, Megan Price, Fox Sports 1340 AM, John Shear, and Believe in the Pac-12 in that ugly shirt, Mike Caratenuto.
First place in the NFC East, baby.
That's not saying much, Mike. That's not saying much.
They're looking good, except for Anthony Brown. Hey, Megan, did I mention I don't like Anthony Brown? Did you know that about me?
I think 1 or 2 times I've heard you say that.
I should know if I mentioned it. Right?
Mike, thank you. You got 10 seconds. Go sit in the corner somewhere. All right, here we go. Let's talk about some trade deadlines, because by 4 p.m. tomorrow, things will have to have been done. And, of course, the biggest conversation piece still is Deshaun Watson and his journey, if you will, to the 305. Now, I have confirmed through a source that he has bought a home down in the 305 area. So I really feel like it is just a moment before he actually is, in fact, in the orange and blue and playing for my man.
Orange and blue?
Well, that's your colors, aren't they?
Teal. No.
Like teal,
teal, orange and teal.
Orange, not blue.
My
if you say orange and blue, we think Broncos.
Fine.
Yes.
Fine. Teal and orange.
Another team that needs a quarterback.
Brian Flores, and in the Fin Fanatics own John Shear and the Miami Dolphins. I think it's just a matter of time. I really do. And we all know the reasoning. We're all waiting to see how the allegations and the cases are going to come out.
But people made a good point. Like, why does Watson want to go to the Dolphins so bad? What makes him want to go? Not that I'm knocking my team, but like, what makes him want to go to a team that's 1-7? What is his reasoning?
Tax in Florida.
Hold on. No, right. But from a football perspective, what makes him want to go? And he's still hell bent on the Dolphins. That's the only team he's willing to waive the no trade clause for. Carolina's in a better position right now with how they've played. Just Darnold's held them back. They've, their defense played pretty well this year. Both have bad offensive lines, but why is Watson so hell bent on the Dolphins? What is it that 1-7 team, the GM could be gone, the head coach could be gone, the offensive line's the worst in football? Why? Like, what makes Watson so hell bent on us? Not that I'm upset with it, but like, I don't understand it. And people make really good points about that is why not Carolina, who's in much better position as of this moment? Why not Washington, who with a quarterback I think would be better? I mean, I know their defense has some issues, but I think that they would be set up for more success at this point in time. They have a much more stable coach in Ron Rivera than Flores right now. I just don't understand why Miami. Like, what makes him – I know the tax. I know you said the tax and all that stuff, but on the field –
It's not the tax. It's what you said in the beginning of the season. The guy that I want back.
Fuller?
Every great quarterback is that has won titles. No team has done it. I have to go back and look through Super Bowl history, but if you go the last, say, like from 1990 on, right? No team that has not had a defense that at least didn't ball out but right before the playoffs, through the playoffs, the top seed, they have the defense in place. Your offensive line, as much as I hate to compliment it, they're not the worst. I mean, they're obviously not.
They're bad.
It's not the Cowboys' offensive line. Let's not get around, as we know that. But they're not the worst. So
they allowed 17 pressures on Sunday.
You have the defense. And what did Dabo Sweeney call him? The Michael Jordan of quarterbacks. And we've seen the plays that he can make. And look, they're no worse than the Texans' offensive line has been the whole time he's been there. Fact, they've been absolutely terrible. And Eric and I have talked about that before. Like, I don't understand I know you need a quarterback, but then your next signing or like trade or draft pick is the dominant left tackle. And they never did that. And they couldn't shore up the right side or the left side. So Deshaun Watson, who got injured his first year, had to run for his life. But even after that, he still played at a high level. You have a defense in place. If you get him as a quarterback, John, unfortunately, that drags free agents over because they'll come play with him. I know money's not structured the same as basketball, but you'll get free agents. Then you can get an offensive lineman, a better offensive lineman. And I don't think the full offensive line is that bad. I think it's your right guard or left guard that I like.
I just want to read a stat to you. Our right tackle allowed 8 pressures on Sunday. 5 hits, just him alone. 5 hits and 8 pressures, just him alone. The whole offensive line, not counting their left tackle, allowed 17 pressures. Josh Allen was only pressured twice in that entire game and only hit twice. Tua was hit numerous number of times, including 17 pressures. That's how bad the Dolphins' offensive line is.
Well,
it's
but that's just how much better.
embarrassing.
That's just how much better the Bills' defense is. But yes, I agree with you. It should be
No
it should
offensive
be,
line should be that bad.
Right. It shouldn't be at that level. But I think your left tackle. But I think it's your right guard too. That when I was watching that game going back and forth, I like your right guard. I'm sorry. Apologies to Miami's right guard.
Robert
I don't know his name. Yeah, but your left tackle and your right guard. I mean, I think you have something there. But I think yes, you need to shore up the right side. But Deshaun Watson comes there, and Eric, it's like any sport. You know that other guys will come to play with him. Like you have a defense, and if you keep those guys, I know they're talking about Woods getting maybe 11th hour teams trying to offer the Dolphins to see if they can get Woods. To me, they're stupid if they do that. Like you better get 3 to 4 first-round draft picks, which nobody obviously is going to do. But that's what I'm saying. That's how ridiculous the Dolphins should be about wanting to trade him. Like I don't think you get fair value in return. But you have a defense, you have corners, you have linebackers, again, that are there. So he comes in at quarterback, upgrade the offensive line. I know always easier said than done, but it's 2 spots. You'll get guys in there, and that could turn it around for them. Because, John, to your point you just made, lastly, I'm going to say, and we said this in the beginning of the season, except for you, everybody's going to be chasing the Bills for the next few years. Like, they're chasing them, and that's what you need. You need defense, but you need to shore up, yes, that offensive line, because the Bills' defense ain't going anywhere.
Yeah, and you don't win. You don't win without an offensive line in football. So
no, you don't. You got to protect the quarterback at all costs. So Megan, give me your thoughts real quick on this whole Deshaun Watson situation, and then I want to talk about what did happen today. And I want to raise a question, and then I do want to end with the whole Chiefs situation, and if we're hitting the panic button. But Megan, please.
I think, John, you asked a really good question. I think last year you guys looked like a much better team. There was a lot of promise there. I am a Flores fan, so definitely not a hater of him whatsoever. And you guys look like you were going to be maybe an 11, 12 win team coming into this season, improving to maybe an 11 win team, maybe 12. Obviously that's not the case. And it's real confusing to me why you guys would be so set on Deshaun Watson, or really anybody of the teams that are looking like a choice, Carolina, Miami, even if he was go to Washington, like all those teams, if you get Deshaun Watson in, he still comes in and plays at that same level that we know that he can play at, because I had him in the top 5 before all this drama happened, right? I had him right at number 5. And, he's not his play. Even if you win every single game after he comes in after that, he's not going to get y'all to the playoffs like that. And he's not going to make that kind of a difference for any one of those teams. And then you come to the real problem, which is going to happen in February. So you don't know. You should have got Watson to begin the season. And if you're going to risk everything that you have to deal with Watson come February, then you should have done it at the beginning of the season. Because what difference is he going to make now? So I think Houston holds on to him until the offseason.
All right, valid point. So then
that's a waste of money. All I'm going to say, Eric, that's a waste of money if they do.
It's a Texan.
They gave him a contract. He signed it. He got his bag. So you can't fault the man for that. So let's talk about this. Von Miller is officially now a Los Angeles Ram. And the question that I posed to everybody in the group chat, and Tyree, we still looking for you. Don't think you're going to go ducking and running. I'll find my way on to
where you at, Tyree?
But my question was, I was thinking about this once the trade went down. As kids, we've been playing Madden for years and years and years. And what's some of the things that you can do in Madden? You can put together your all Madden team, if you will. Now, what did the Bucs do last year? We all said they were one piece away from making a difference in the NFC and in the NFL. Well, that one piece just happened to be Tom Brady. And what did they do? They rewrote history. The first and currently only team to host and win a Super Bowl in their own stadium. So Sean McVay, the front office of the Los Angeles Rams, said, wait a minute, we could be the next. So what do? First off, they get Matthew Stafford, bring him over in a straight up swap pretty much for Jared Goff, and said, we want him. They keep Cooper Kupp. They keep Robert Woods. They bring in some young backs to kind of help the situation. But that defense was bend, don't break. top 3 defenses, I think, in the entire league. Aaron Donald, Jalen Ramsey, and now you add Von Miller?
Eric, there was an interesting stat, real quick before you finish. There's an interesting stat I heard on Monday Night Football at halftime.
Yeah.
So in the last 4 years, the last 4 to 5 seasons, Aaron Donald was number 1, obviously, as we all know, real shocking quarterback pressures.
Yes.
Von Miller, banged up and all as he's been the last 2 years, is number 4. So now they have number 1 and number 4 coming at you with the Jalen Ramsey, with the linebacking core that we all know, it, like you said, is above average and gets it. It's insane.
So I say all that to say this. Are the Rams trying to do what the Bucs did last year in being able to host and potentially win a Super Bowl in their home stadium? And then, correct me if I'm wrong, Mike, isn't it in Arizona next year?
2020. Oh, 2022, 2023. Yeah.
Okay,
Oh,
so look at Arizona as currently constructed now. Could they be on the course to do it next? So that's my thing. Could we, over the next 3 years, see teams that are hosting the Super Bowl actually play in the Super Bowl? We saw it last year with the Bucs. The potential now with Von Miller, and I know Von Miller is just one piece, but he's a key piece. And if he's going to go out on his way, why not go out basically doing what Tom Brady did?
Right.
And then potentially seeing it next year with the Arizona Cardinals. Are we creating these all Madden teams now? Is that, I mean, that's what I want to know.
Look, you say super teams, and I'll say this to answer it shortly. Megan brought up a great thing with DeMarcus Ware, because obviously Dallas, like, they could have got him for a little bit less if they didn't stall negotiations, and he wins the Super Bowl with the Broncos. You bring Von Miller, who, of course, won that Super Bowl with him, to the Rams. And, Eric, I like your question today, almost kind of like the NBA super teams. It's not the same, but what the Rams are showing is – and they're kind of copying Bill Belichick. Because, Eric, how many times did you and I laugh about him trading away first-round picks during that run, even though, like I said, after 2004, yeah, they were in the playoffs. They were in a few AFC championships, but they didn't go back to the Super Bowl for like 9 Super Bowl, which, again, I get it. But I'm just saying, like, they said, forget developing young guys. We have this in here. These guys are contracted. Yes, we'll draft a few and keep them. So what Les Snead and Sean McVay are doing, saying, yeah, let's do NBA style kind of form, but you can do it. You can win now. And to John's point about Miami, it's the opposite of a quarterback, because quarterback's got to do more defensively. Yeah, you got to get Von Miller into a groove, but you can also say, pin your ears back and go kill the quarterback. Like, again, he can do that. So it's Les Snead and Sean McVay are doing that. So to my point, you could see it. But look, they both still have one loss. The Cardinals still have the tiebreaker over them. I'm not about to give the division to the Rams yet, because, yes, the injury was tough. It depends. I know you're not either. I know it happens with Kyler Murray. But what I will say is, to answer that question, the next 3 years, yeah, I mean, Arizona – look, the year after they hosted when the Patriots lost to the Giants here, the Cardinals went to the Super Bowl the next year, so they were 1 year off. They were close, but look, I mean, I think we could. The Rams are this definitely put them right there at the top of the NFC, and the team that, I mean, look, between the Cardinals, the Bucs, obviously they're in there, the Cowboys, and look, I put the Packers last. We can get into that later. I put the Packers last, and I have thoughts on that. But no, it's not even because they beat the Cardinals. It's just how everything went down. But look, it is top heavy. But the Rams, just like, if you need to get one sack, and I got Aaron Donald and Von Miller on my line, yeah, I'm gonna go with the guy that bet the $1,000 on White. I'm gonna put $500,000 on that I don't have, because one of those two is getting the sack.
All right, Megan.
And speaking of that, he's pretty close to winning that, because each one of those quarterbacks are under 200 yards right now.
Wow.
You know what? It goes back to that old saying about offense wins games and defense wins championships. And if you think I'm wrong, go back to that Super Bowl that Von Miller won, and what a fool he made out of Cam. Like, Cam couldn't even talk to the media. He was so devastated. They could not get on the board hardly. He specifically couldn't get on the board. So absolutely, defense makes that big of a difference. And Von Miller's one of the best edge rushers we've ever seen. So he is coming off an ankle injury. And he's 32 years old. So those are a couple of things to keep in consideration. But absolutely, when I heard the news today, I said, oh, the Rams trying to win the Super Bowl.
But it's only half a season, and that's my whole point. My whole point is,
and the Broncos are paying his contract, Eric. They're paying mostly all of it.
Hey, If they got that money to burn, send some to the Sports Arena 806.
But
Fox
I
Sports
don't think it's
1340,
the
believe in
same
the
thing
Pac-12.
as basketball.
You know what I'm saying?
Like it's on basketball, you got 5 players on the court. You know what I mean? It's different with football. So I don't exactly look at it as the same as a super team. I look at it like how good the Broncos defense was that year that they won, how good the Minnesota Vikings were when they had that line defensive line that they had. Even Pittsburgh, they were known for the Iron Curtain, and it makes a difference, but it's not the same thing as a super team.
But my thing is,
when
we focused on teams, we usually focused on either one side of the ball or the other.
Right.
We either said they had a elite defense or just weapons for offense. We're seeing both now, and that's why I say I'm calling it the I'm not calling it super. I'm calling it the all Madden team. You know what I'm saying?
I can get behind
putting
that,
those
and I like
key
it.
pieces in positions and saying, okay, we got the best of the best currently constructed. Let's integrate one piece here, one piece there, and then let's dominate. John, you're awfully quiet about this, brother, so I got to get you in on this.
Yeah, there's no way when it comes to the Rams, there's no way you double team both Von Miller and Aaron Donald. So one of them is getting single teamed basically every single play. Plus, they have some other good linemen as well that people forget about. They have some really good linemen. So Joseph Day is having a really good year. If you don't know who he is on the Rams, you better go look him up because that guy is balling this year. So he's going to be single teamed every play. Von Miller or Aaron Donald, you're going to double team Aaron Donald. It's going to happen. So now Von Miller, who, if he stays healthy, he's going to be single teamed basically every play. You can't double team both. So, I mean, good luck stopping that.
Well, John, actually, you can double team both, but you would.
But then you leave Sebastian Day wide open.
Hold on. What I'm going to say to you, though, is you'd have to drastically change how you want to run your offense because you'd be going with 2, maybe 3 tight end sets.
That's 4 people to block 2 guys.
Right, but what I'm saying is if you go with 2 or 3 tight end sets, you drastically change what you do on offense. So if you go with like 2 or 3 tight end sets and you're not, a team like the Titans or even like the Jets or, I know Belichick's done that throughout the years.
You can't spread it out. You can't go 5 wide.
You can't, right, but you can't constantly, if you want to try and move the ball on them and score points, you can't constantly run. I'm agreeing with you. I'm just saying, you can do it. You can double team everybody if you have 3 tight end sets. But then if you're passing the ball, you have 2 guys, maybe 1 or 2 guys out in a pattern, and that's it.
Yeah, you got to bring somebody in to block an extra guy because, like I said, if you go 5 wide, a 5 wide set, which typically you don't in the NFL, but if you have a formation where you do, guess what? You're not going to be double teaming those guys because then somebody's running free.
Yeah,
exactly. So, like you said, now you got to change the formations. You got to leave a back or a tight end or a fullback or somebody in there to block, and that changes your mindset, and that messes with your mind as an offensive coordinator.
Oh, well, Eric, of course. Then you're going to have to do that. You're going to have to basically redo your schemes in order to factor in. Now we have Aaron Donald. Now we have Von Miller. Oh, and by the way, don't try and go deep because Jalen Ramsey's right there to get it.
Jeez Louise, man. Could he get any better? And now you know why remember when you and I got in that text debate about the Cowboys taking him over Ezekiel Elliott?
I have no idea how they did.
I'm not sad that we have Elliott. Look, and again, those first 3 years, I definitely. But
Jerry wanted Jalen.
Exactly. No, look. I think he wanted both because he knew they needed a running game. Exactly.
But he knew Jalen Ramsey was the real deal.
The scouting department knew. Believe me, I'm with you because Eric and I were texting. He's like, I hope you don't get him. And then when he got Zeke, Eric's like, I hate you too. I'm like, come on, man. You don't want Zeke. You don't want Jalen. What are they going to draft? A kicker with the 4th pick?
Exactly. Do that for me. All right. Let's move on. Last question. I know this game's going on right now, and just real quick, shout out to my nephew. He predicted that the Giants were going to win 28-14.
Really?
That's what he said. That's what he's.
How's his Madden game? Is he stepping it up for when I come back?
Better. He's just not a fan of Patrick Mahomes, but yeah, he came out. He was like, "Giants are going to win 28-14." I was like, "Wait, what?"
And it's a tie ball game right now, 17-17.
But him and I got a little bet going, so we'll see what happens. But when he told me that score, I was like, so you mean to tell me the Giants are going to go into Arrowhead and beat the Kansas City Chiefs by 14?
And then John will have to start putting his tail between his legs because the Raiders are going to run away with the division.
Yeah. Oh, by the way, that's funny that you mentioned that about the AFC West. All right, so I threw a little stat out. I'm not sure if I threw in our Alex Fleming's NFL Carousel chat, but do you know who's been the worst quarterback over the last 3 weeks in the NFL out of all quarterbacks? Do you know who's been the worst?
Patrick Mahomes.
Are you going to say Derek Carr?
Justin Herbert has been the worst quarterback out of all 32 starters.
Well,
He's been the worst in the NFL over the past 3 weeks.
Mike. Shots
Nobody is talking.
That's fine, but did you see that touchdown pass?
But nobody's talking about Justin Herbert struggling right now.
I've heard a couple people say.
I agree with Megan. They are struggling a little bit. Well, I have.
If this was Tua
that touchdown pass that he threw that made it 27-24. Yeah, there's only like 3 other quarterbacks that are dropping that. Like, that was a hell of a catch. But that angle of that ball.
But if Tua was playing as bad as Herbert is right now.
Tua is playing bad.
He was before the Buffalo
11
game.
11 points against the Bills, 11 points in 2 games.
Before the Buffalo game, the last 3 weeks, he was the 4th highest rated quarterback in Pro Football Focus out of anybody in the NFL for the 3 weeks leading up to that Buffalo game. The 4th.
Megan Price.
He is struggling.
Are you hitting the panic button on the Kansas City Chiefs? Yes or no?
Still, yes, absolutely, yes.
Mike Carrottenuto, are you hitting the panic button?
No, because of Andy Reid. Man, he's gone through tribulations like this. I mean, and I'm not even picking on you for being an Eagles fan, but you know this in Philly. He has, and look, he always, as much as it pained me after I met you, I knew he'd come out of it. So look, the Giants are playing tough. Daniel Jones does make a difference. They're injured as hell. They shortened the game tonight, but no, I'm not going to hit the panic button. Could they miss the playoffs? Yes, with their record at 3-5, sure, but I'm not going to hit a panic button on a team that has that much. And a defensive coordinator, as you and I painfully know, somehow just gets better the second half of the season, and their defense is just the immovable object because his whole career he's done that, which makes you want to vomit.
Yeah, that's what Spags does. John
did it to Tom Brady twice.
Daniel Jones makes a difference. He makes a difference in what? Whether he trips or walks.
Oh, come on, man. Megan,
no,
look, man.
No.
John
I'm going to take Daniel Jones over Cooper Rush.
Yeah, I gave the Giants a chance tonight.
I give you that.
I gave the Giants a chance personally tonight because of the defense. They've been playing tough. They've been playing really tough. Bradbury's a really good corner, and they got a really good defensive line that really can give you fits at times. So I gave them a chance. Now I didn't say they were going to win necessarily, but I gave them a chance. I'm not panicking on the Chiefs because until they're officially out, I can't say they're dead. They have Patrick Mahomes and Tyreek Hill and Travis Kelce. I can't count them out until they're officially out. That's how I see it.
Okay.
And so if they lose tonight, y'all not pushing that button?
No, not until they're out.
All right.
I pushed it last week.
So both Mike and John are saying until they are mathematically eliminated, which probably won't be until the end of the season, depending on how things go. Here's my take on this whole situation. When you are the AFC champs and you got beat, Patrick Mahomes said he doesn't believe in the Super Bowl hangover. Well, to that young man, I say this. I've seen a number of teams who looked just dominant in the year that they did make it to the Super Bowl. The following year, have a bit of a downward spiral. And granted, we are halfway through the season. Depending on what happens tonight, you will either be 3-6 or you will be 4-5. I'm sorry. You'll be either
3-5 or 4-4.
Thank you, John. Thank you. Yeah, we're only at week 8. Whew. I'm trying to fast forward past this week because
settle down.
Listen, Wednesday night's not going to be a pretty night for me, but whatever. I digress. I believe in Andy Reid. Of course, I believe in Patrick Mahomes and Travis Kelce, but that defense, Megan, you brought it up earlier. Defense wins championships. And right now, that defense, you're having a very difficult time against teams that are tier-wise not on your level. And so that begs for me to be like, I'll say this, the glass is raised and my hand is hovering. If they are to lose to the Giants tonight, oh yes, I'm pushing the panic button. There's no because you are going to have a even bigger mountain to climb to get yourself back to the playoffs. You have had the fortunate luxury of being a top team in the NFL. You've had buys. You've played at Arrowhead. You haven't really had to really experience a road warrior mentality, but now you have to Because if you allow yourself to fall, whereas we've seen the Baltimores of the world, yes, they got beat by the Bengals, but still, Baltimore is still my team. Okay. You have a Raiders team that now that they've got rid of Gruden, they seem to be playing on a different level. All right. Cincinnati has shocked all of us, even though they did get beat by the Jets. You know, it's Halloween. It was trick or treat. And sometimes it's bizarro world. Things just happen. Right. I think a lot of these teams that did lose last week are going to right their ship. But I also see that.
So the Vikings are going to right their ship?
No, I'm done with them. Matter of fact, Minnesota, y'all owe me Justin Jefferson. That's what y'all owe me, okay? We gave you Justin Jefferson on a silver platter, and you're not utilizing his career. Matter of fact, I want Justin Jefferson and I want Dalvin Cook. I want both them boys in Philadelphia. Thank you. Shout out. Anyhow, yes. You took Micah Parsons from me, Mike. I don't want to hear you, okay?
And CeeDee Lamb. We got CeeDee Lamb because we traded up.
I ain't worried about CeeDee Lamb.
Oh, wow. Okay.
But I will show, but Mike, I will do you this one. And then we got to close it out. I will show love to one member of that organization. Trayvon Diggs. Trayvon Diggs. I always got love for Dak because he's a black quarterback and he got paid. So black quarterbacks across the board, I got love for y'all. It don't matter what team you're on. But Trayvon Diggs, yeah, I got to show love to him because who his brother is, and you know, I've heard some of their backstory and what they've gone through and what they've been through and how they've pulled each other up continuously, having to be grown men, you know, even as boys. I show a lot of love to Trayvon. So.
And you know me, I don't watch a ton of HBO's, you know, and training camp thing. I never was Hard Knocks. Yeah, I mean, I was the first season, but actually I happened to be flipping through channels, and it's funny you bring that up because it was an episode where they were kind of focusing on Diggs in the secondary, and like his son was like cheering for him, which is really
so
cute.
He doesn't call him dad. He said, "Hey Trey,
Trey." Yeah,
it's really cute.
But no, their backstory, and I learned a little bit more of it. That's why I mean, and you never obviously picked on. I mean, you and I had conversations about DeMarcus Ware and like where he came from and his family struggles, and just I mean, what an overall like great person he was, and even like a phenomenal football player. But yeah, no, where Diggs has come from. And again, like I thought Megan was a little too hard on him last week. By the way, Megan, I do got to pick on you a little bit on the show saying he gets beat. He doesn't get beat. I mean, look, he can't cover. He can't cover for everybody else. No, not like Anthony Brown. No, that's where you're wrong.
You changed the statement. You changed the statement. I didn't compare him to anybody else. I said he gets beaten coverage. Now, yes,
it's nice that
anyway. But their story is good. Their story is really cool, Eric.
It is.
I just got to get off one last parting shot, Eric. What is with the Cardinals lose one game to the Packers, and everybody's like, oh, I mean, I heard people today saying, oh, yep, Seattle beat Jacksonville. I think, you know, the Cardinals lost, the Rams with the trade. The Cardinals got to look out. Do you not see how the Cardinals play? I mean, this is what's dumb about anyone east of the Mississippi that doesn't pay attention to the left coast. Like, I pay attention to both. When I'm hanging out with you on the East Coast, I know what's going on. Well, and I know what's going on out here. Like, the Cardinals are done. I want every moron that said that. Find me on Twitter like the Texans fans, at Diablo00. I've already had to apologize to Texans fans, although thanks a lot, Rams backup defense. Thanks for letting them score. Probably cost me my fantasy game because I was hoping I'd get the 25-point bonus shutout. But anyway, exactly. But hit me up on Twitter, please, at Diablo00 for you people on the East Coast that have no clue what the Cardinals are doing and can't spell Kyler Murray and think, oh, they lost J.J. Watt, they're done. Like, you're fools. Please find me on Twitter. Thank you. And the Rams are a good team.
I just want to piggyback on how important it is for
and wait, John, real quick, did I not say the Seahawks would finish last? Look at our division.
The season's not over, and Russell Wilson's about to get healthy.
But
anyway,
I said they'd be 10-7 and in last place. They'd have a winning record and in last.
The Niners want a word with you. Anyway, I just want to talk about how important it is for somebody to really be able to overcome their hardships and things that try and hold them back. I mean, Stefon Diggs really went through a lot, I'm sure, in his younger days, and he went through a lot having to have Kirk Cousins as his quarterback. And I'm glad he's able to overcome that. The poor guy, he really had to suffer through Kirk Cousins being his quarterback for so many years.
Oh, you're just buttering up to Eric now.
I'm happy for him that he got out of that situation and he doesn't have to suffer anymore. I mean, it's good to see people overcome things.
And hey, shout out to Calvin Ridley too, real fast. I know we didn't touch on it and everybody's talked about it, but
right.
Calvin Ridley needs to get right, man. Shout out to Calvin Ridley.
Agreed.
Because, again, get right, do your thing, and hopefully, again, he can bring people joy and he gets back to what he loves to do and what he worked his whole life to do. But shout out to Calvin Ridley for coming up, man, stepping up.
That was just saying with John Shear, ladies and gentlemen. That's going to do it for us here on the Sports Arena. Wednesday night.
First place, baby!
Mike Caratenuto, our queen of hoops, Miss Megan Price, our girl, Miss Ruth the Truth, James Harris from Say What, Say It Again, and possibly our special guest, Miss Ashley Baker. It's going to be a 1-hour conversation with limited commercial interruption, talking nothing but about their team, that team down there in Texas that is in first place in the NFC East, and beat the Minnesota Vikings last night with Cooper Rush.
In their house.
Yeah.
Kirk Cousins? Oh, hey, yeah, you can call Eric now. He's done with the show. He's the president of your fan club. He wants to talk to you. All right, thanks, Kirk.
Much love to everybody. We'll holler at y'all on Wednesday night. See ya.